Hello and welcome to the Hoof GP. As she said, this is the Hoof GP and we're here to see an old friend. First, let's see how she looked, because this was one of the worst feet we've ever trimmed on the Hoof GP. There she is, my horny little devil. How are you, darling? Only one horn though. So let's do a quick rewind of the last 2 visits and see exactly how she began, how she ended up, and then hopefully see how she's doing now.
This is cow 89, and as you've just seen, when we first saw her around 8 weeks ago, she was in a horrendous amount of pain. Clearly she was bleeding from the heel of her outside claw, but her problems ran far deeper than that, as you're just about to see. As we removed the loose and overburdening hoof horn, we uncovered a huge problem. Her corium was completely infected and emanating pus because of a deep digital dermatitis infection caused by a crack in the white line, which then allowed bacteria in to completely infect the corium. Despite her foot being a horrendous mess, we persevered and removed every bit of detached horn that we could. We dressed it with iodine and applied Embryonics magical paste before putting a wrap on and letting her go. We returned to see how she was doing just 4 weeks later, and as you can see, I was really disappointed at the lack of improvement in her foot. She had begun to grow some new horn, but it was still detached at the corium. It was flaking away, and the corium was still infected with digital dermatitis, which meant there was no way this hoof could heal. Her block was still in place, so she was getting pain relief from that at least. We removed all of the loose and overburdening horn once again, and this time we made sure we went as far as we possibly could without cutting into any live tissue. Instead of the paste, we applied salicylic acid, which is a much stronger concoction. This time I was hoping for much better results.
So, how's she doing now? You're all expecting her to have made a miraculous recovery and be fantastic and me go on about how awesome I am. Well, the absolute truth is, I've no idea how she's doing right now. I can see she's holding her foot up off the ground slightly, if you look down there. But she is back in with the main herd. So let's get her in the crush, get her foot in the air, and see exactly what progress she has or has not made. It don't look pretty.
I'm disappointed. I can see some open redness there on her outer claw, which means it definitely hasn't healed. Let's give it a quick clean.
Now you know what? I'm actually pretty happy with that. So definitely not completely healed. Her journey is not complete. If you see here, she is still open and has some raw and tenderness here. There's a tiny bit of dermatitis on there, which we need to clear up. There's obviously a lot of loose horn going on here, and cracked stuff down here and here and in here. But she is definitely a lot better than she once was. So obviously the Bovi block has come off, and that's because if you look here, you can see this is natural shedding. So naturally the horn will flake away, especially in dry conditions, and it is very dry here in Scotland right now. So what we're going to do is tidy it all up, treat this, fix this, and see how it goes.
Unfortunately, when I'm on farm actually trimming these cows, I don't have the luxury of watching a video back to see how bad a cow's foot was. So while I'm sat here editing this, I'm actually blown away by the progress this cow has made in the last 4 weeks. The foot has transformed. Yes, it's definitely not completely fixed, and you're just about to see the extent of that, but it is clearly miles better than it once was.
Remember the good days. I wish that we could go back. I know I'm not perfect, but at least give me a
So I'm just preparing this inside claw to take a block. I don't actually want to reduce the height here, I just want to make sure it's completely flat and level right across all of the surfaces. This isn't a crack. Well, it is a crack, but it's not a crack that's going to cause a problem. So we'll leave that exactly as it is and move on to treating the lateral claw.
Give me a chance. Yeah, baby, try, try, try. Just one more night, then make up your mind, mind. Please don't say that it's goodbye, bye, bye. If you just believe it, I know we can make it.
Despite the massive improvement in this cow's foot over the past 8 weeks, it's still vitally important that we are rechecking her today. We're not doing anything radical today, but she is still in pain. If this cow had this problem and this was the extent of it, we would certainly be wanting to trim her. So forget about how far she's come. The problem is what is in front of us right now, and it is causing her pain. So we need to remove all of this loose and cracked horn so that it doesn't become a greater problem once again. And even just applying a block is going to give her pain relief and make sure that the healing process continues to its full potential.
Well, Herd, we're definitely getting there, aren't we? I asked you guys in the last video to tell me where you were, what you were doing as a living and how old you were, and you responded in your thousands. I love reading through all of the comments, reading exactly what you guys get up to, what you do for work and where you are in the world. So thanks very much for doing that. It gives me something to read.
We've taken this cow from being exceptionally lame to now only having a mild problem that should be healed in a couple of weeks, and I for one couldn't be happier about it.
These blocks are biodegradable, but they act like plastic. Love them.
Please don't say that it's goodbye, bye, bye. If you just believe it, I know we can
You're welcome.
make it.
And that is the end of this video. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye from me and goodbye from... Bye from me. I already said that.